I'm going to drop down on document settings and switch this over to millimeter. Okay, so now that I have it in millimeter, we're going to be working in the right dimensions. And I'm going to click on this, what would be the front plane, right? So it straightens that out. I'm going to go ahead and add a rectangle here. And then I'm going to hit D on my keyboard. And that gives me 60 and 10. So I'm at 60 millimeters by 10 millimeters. If it looks like it's super crazy big, probably you're in inches and you need to double check that. Finish sketch. And then I'm going to extrude. So for this, we're extruding it 15 millimeters. And then I'm going back to my front face here. I'll click on sketch and I'll click on that front face thing. I think this might be the same because I went out with my extrude, but I'm still going to just click on the actual face of the item. And I'm going to use Aiden's trick on the midpoint here. Comes out, it's very helpful. So we're going to have this square here, and we're going to go to Align tool and make it a construction line. And hover towards the middle, you'll get that triangle will pop up. And then you can bring it across. So now I'm going to click on midpoint again. So I have the midpoint of that shape I just built. But then I'm going to do the midpoint of this whole entire line. So I bring my mouse up above what we were doing. And it ties it right to the middle. So if you look, it should be lined up correctly now. Did I do it? Yeah. Then I'm going to dimension it. And the dimensions for this are 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters. And then we can finish the sketch. So it's just tied into the middle. Then I'm going to go ahead and select this inner square here and then pull through. And that's the cool thing about Fusion. If you were doing it on Onshape, you would have to do up to face and all that stuff or dimension it. But because we're in Fusion, you just pull that arrow and it cuts. It immediately knows that's what you want to do. And then we're going to put a little like cross circle here. And we're going to go ahead and pick this face as our sketch. So you could do the top or the bottom. I'm doing the top. And it rotates in a weird way. So we just have to watch out for that. And I have found that it's easier actually to bring it back like this than to do the cut option that we were doing the other day in class. We're going to do a circle here. And when you go to hover on that line, that triangle pops up again. So we just want to get the triangle, and then we can draw that circle. And then D for dimension. Maybe. There we go. And the diameter of that circle is 2.5. See if that looks right. Yep. And we can hit check on that. Now we're going to extrude that circle, both the top and the bottom pieces, because they're kind of split because of that straight line. So just click on that and that. And then you have two options here. You know it's 4 millimeters, so you could technically do that. Or you could do the technique that if we ever have to edit something later might be more useful. So again, design intent matters. So here I'm going to go ahead and go up to objects. Say I want to change this later. If I go to print it and I don't like the way it's hinging. Now it's just going to do whatever the width of the cutout is. It'll always do that if we change the cutout. So I'll hit OK. And then for these little sides, to just give it a little more extra area, we're going to do a 1 millimeter fillet. So I'm doing both little edges there and 1 millimeter. And that just gives it a little extra media, you know, so that it's connected. Then we're going to go here and draw on this face here. Zoom out. I'm just trying to get to be like in a nice spot, but you know, it's evil. There we go. Nope. And it rotated too far. So I'm looking for me, it's my left side. And we're going to do a rectangle, and we're going to use the Aiden technique again for the midpoint. But I'm going to draw it up here just to show you so you can see it move. So I'm just going to go like this and draw from side to side. And you can see these lines are black, which means that they're fully defined. Or, you know, the width is defined. It's locked into those sides. And then I'm going to hover until I get to the middle and then do my construction line. That is not a construction line. If I hit escape, will it work on here? I feel like, okay, it did. So if I click on just that line with nothing selected at the top, I can go to construction and fix that. So we can do that. So what we've done is we've created a midpoint line in the rectangle. But now I want that midpoint to be in the midpoint of the whole piece. So I'm just going to click on that point and then go to that straight line. And then see how it hops to right where we want it. So before I was drawing it so close you couldn't really see the jump, but this one you can. And then this should be 3 millimeters high. Okay, so you can see it's right here. So we're going to hit check, and then we're going to go ahead and extrude it. And this is an odd number, but if you think about the height of the other stuff we're doing, it's not that crazy. It's like double something else that we did, but it's 5.68. So that is our extrude there. So we can hit OK. And now we need to put a hole through this. You can pick the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. Let's try the top and see how that goes. And I'm going to draw one construction line down the middle. I'm looking for that triangle again. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, in the past, I've done one in the other direction. But what I've figured out from the program is I'm going to go to circle, but I'm going to turn off construction line because it's automatically still in. If I just hover, that half point is going to pop up on that construction line. So we don't actually have to draw it like a T or a plus. We can just draw one way and then find the midpoint of that line. The dimension for that is going to be 3.6. We can hit finish sketch, and then we're going to extrude remove that circle. So I'm just pulling through, and it cuts, and it's cool, and that all works out. So now we have to just fillet a couple things. So I'm going to go ahead and hit fillet. And in a perfect world, it will let me do all of them without yelling at me. Oops. I was wondering about this corner here, if we should do this corner as well. Let's see if it'll let, oh, I forgot I'm not in Onshape. I just tried to like rotate. So let's do that as 1 millimeter and let's see if it'll work. Yeah, it does. Okay, so I like that. I normally have not done those corners in the past, but I think just for the ability for it to move, I think it makes more sense for that to be there. And we're going to do those interior ones too. Yeah, so I did all of those outside pieces, essentially. The tops and then the vertical. For this one inside, we're just going to do these lines here, and I don't know if it'll let me. No, it won't. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK, and I'll just do it again. So fillet, and then I'm picking that interior here and this interior here. We're going to make it a 1. So now we have like a really cool shape. You know what I mean? And there goes an announcement in the middle of the recording. That's okay. We're just going to keep going.
Please pardon this interruption. Cody Kane, please report to the front of the building. Cody Kane to the front of the building.
All right, so what we're doing now is we're doing a linear pattern, but so in Fusion it's called a rectangular pattern. So I'm going to click on that, and then it does bodies, so we can just click the body we made. When it comes to axis, we're going to just pick something that is horizontal. It doesn't matter which horizontal line you pick. Let's try this one here. And now the dimension for the replication of this is an odd dimension, which of course I didn't write down on this. Isn't that great? I had everything else on my paper. We're going to try a couple different things and see what we get. But one of the things that I want you to look at is where it says extent, switch that to spacing. Because we're used to, from Onshape, doing the spacing between each thing. Extent is the width of the whole thing. So if you put 10 in 3 inches, or you put 5 in 3 inches, it pulls between that. We don't want that. That's extent. What we want is that it's evenly spaced each time. So now that we have the even spacing, I'm going to rotate onto the top view so that I can pull this arrow and come across. And we have 3 options right now. And it looks like I might need to do 12.5. No, 12.5 didn't work. Let's try 12.6. Nope. 12.25? Nope. I'm going the wrong way, guys. Help me out. When you did 13, did it work? Oh, I feel like 13 is not quite what we want. We're in the middle of recording. See how, like, here you can see it's a little bit close on this side? So we want to shorten it up just a little bit. Oh, I know, like 12.95 maybe. Like literally just a little bit. Nope. 9.2. 9.0. 8.7. I like it. 12.87 is the way to go, I think. What do you think? I'm asking the other people in the class. Does that look right? All right, so we're going with 12.87 on that. And then it's a matter of picking how many across you're going to need. You may need to go back and edit this later, but for now I'm just going to pick 10. Did you do like 100? When you do, if you're doing a snake or something, you're definitely going to need more than 10. You know, it just depends on what you're making. So if you look, we've made this shape. And so if you get to this point, you're in good shape. This is exactly like the thing I showed you guys in class. And this is what we got going on. So now what we're going to do is there's a cool way to cut this out. And I want to show you that. And this is where Fusion becomes better than Onshape. In Onshape, you would have to bring in an image and trace it. But in Fusion, what we can do is, I'm just going to pick dolphin. Just because it looks cool. Ooh, I'm getting all kinds of weird stuff. I just want an image of a dolphin. I guess I shouldn't say dolphins. It auto did that, by the way. And then go into clip art. I'm looking for something that's solid, pretty solid, because the more lines you have, the more complicated it gets. Okay, I'll just use this one. Save image as. So they actually have this. It says clip art free SVG file. That's what we're going to be making in the end. So the fact that they made it like an SVG may be a good way to Google it. So this is coming in as a PNG. So I'm going to hit save here. And I'm going to go to convert. So I'm going to do PNG to SVG. Converter. Choose the file, and then I had downloaded that jumping dolphin thing. Open. Hit convert. Okay, and then make sure you hit download, because I've done this a couple times where I go to do it and it's not there, but it's because I never hit the download. Okay, so now it's on the computer. I'm going to go ahead and go into Insert, SVG, and it's going to ask me where, and I'm going to go from computer, go into my downloads, because I just did that. You get this cool kind of swirly thing. If you have that, you know you're in the right file. And the first thing it asks me is where am I going to put it? So I'm just going to pick the face of the front of the piece, and it brings in a full line drawing already done. So for those of you that have known the turmoil of, you know, Onshape's tracing, welcome to like cool stuff. So you can move this around, you can size it, you can flip it. Sizing is a little corner thing like we've done in forms. One of the things you want to look for is the best way to hit as many hinges as possible, and it's okay if things hang out. Okay? So right now it looks good. I can always double up and put more pieces. With this fin, I think what I'm going to do is actually extend these pieces and not do that. So I'm going to say that looks, nope, look, I'm missing these hinges down here. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Again, I'm looking to get as many hinges as I can in this dolphin. So whatever you're doing, those hinges are straight. There is that other video with the angled hinges if you want to get into that, but this one, they're just straight hinges. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit OK here. And that sketch is done. So if I go ahead and do within that, like a square around it, whoop, like that, and then hit finish sketch, and then I just extrude everything, and then like this. And I'm doing cut, so we're going to say cut. It's cutting the wrong way, so I'll just go that way. Whatever. Hit OK. You can see it's pretty much done. Now, you remember I didn't have those pieces, so I'm going to go back into my sketch, and I'm going to turn it on. And I think it's this one. Let's see. Yep. And I'm just going to add to some certain things. So, like, for that extrude that we had here, I need a little more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and extrude these up. So I'll go to extrude and pick, go away sketch. Okay, wait, I want to turn off the sketch for a second. It was this one, and maybe this one? I couldn't quite tell. And I'm just going to add on to it like this, like some craziness, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and move the extrude past the sketch and the extrude remove, if it will let me.
There is one on that bottom fin. The end of the bottom fin wouldn't really connect to anything.
Right. So when they don't connect to anything, that is a perfect connection here. I'm going to have to extend that and make that a solid piece. So the whole tail is going to become a solid piece. So just like here too, same thing, we have to add that. So I'm trying to do where I can just move this over. It's just being weird. Maybe if I do it this way. They don't like talking to each other. So I'm going to go back to that sketch and turn it on. And just extrude remove those pieces that I added because it's being weird. You can, again, this is where it becomes finicky, and that's why, like, in the past I've said, like, I do these videos and then they just go weird. So I'm just cutting out that part, and you can see it looks way better now. But again, I still have this fin up here is not connected, this is not connected, and this is not connected. So now I have to go through and I have to add those. So I'm going to do an extrude. And I'm just going to do this little, so it won't do this piece, so look what we're going to have to do. I'm going to go to sketch, and I'm going to sketch on the new one, and I'm going to project what we already have. So I'm going to project, so I'm hitting P on my keyboard, and I'm pulling these pieces here, and I might have to zoom in because we brought this in from a converted file, so like who knows how many lines they used. I'm curious if we could do it all in one. Do you think we can do it all in one, guys? This is where I like try to do too much in a video and then it goes wrong. Look like you have to look, see how this little tiny piece is in here? So just make sure that you're grabbing all the pieces as you're doing it, or else you end up with, you know, something going wrong. So then the other thing I'm going to do is just add a line from here to here and from here to here. It should make it solid blue, so if you missed something, just try again. Nope. Why is it being weird? I missed something somewhere. Ah, right there. See it? So I'm going to go back to project and grab this. And what else did I miss? So this is where it gets fiddly, guys. You can see I made a solid piece here, but I want to make a solid piece here. And you can, again, you know when it's blue that you've done it correctly. So it is blue. Okay, we're good there. And then finally up here, same thing, that straight line needs to be there. Or is it there? It is. So I can hit finish on my sketches, and then I'm just going to go ahead and extrude those little pieces that I just made. Oh, that's not cool. There we go. Did it do it, or did it do the whole thing? Dude, Fusion is so weird. Just saying. Okay, there it goes. And then same thing down here. No, that one, I must not have gotten it. But I'm going to show you this, and then again, this is something you can play with when you do yours. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to extrude it over to the face on the other side. So again, I'm going to object because if I need to edit anything later, I want that to be enjoined. Everything is ready to go so that they're all connected to each other. So now you can see that piece is solid. So this fin will print, this fin will print. This one I just missed a line, so it didn't work. So you'd have to go back and do that. I would do the same thing with the nose. But that's it. Once you do that, the only other thing you're going to need is to find a place to put a hole in it so we can make it into a keychain. Because that's what we're doing. That's why it is the size it is because it makes kind of a cool little chunky keychain. All right, so that's it. We got it. Thanks, guys.